shout out to Chris Stevens for forgiving me for starting an hour later than we usually do. Because your boy really thought he was doing something. I called myself thinking that I was going to be on time and start on time, only to realize I'm an hour late.
We here though.
But we here. Oh, dang it. Wasn't supposed to put that up there yet. Anyway, so welcome to a new edition of the HBCU Sports Podcast. It's your boy, Ken Rashad. He's Chris Stevens. We have got a show for you. A lot on the slate. We got some key games on the weekend starting tomorrow. We had a key game that took place last night. And so look, man, let's go ahead and get into it. But let's kind of start with some news and notes. And we're going to first of all start off with a couple of notes. Chris Stevens, you got a podcast.
Yes, I do. You guys know about the MEAC and more on this channel, but I also have a music podcast that is near and dear to my heart called On the Groove Line. I'm going to put that link in the description for y'all right now. And what you can do is if you subscribe to that, you will get wonderful old school R&B music chatter from your boy. I have special guests on. I've had luminaries such as Keith Kilgo, one of the co-founders of the Blackbirds, the R&B funk band from Philly Breakwaters, Steve Green and Jeevan Robinson were nice enough to join me. I'm working on more guests, and mostly it'll just be me and some friends from time to time talking stuff about the old school R&B of yesteryear and other stuff. So be sure to subscribe, check it out. You'll be glad you did. And there's the link if you're interested.
Okay. And those of you who may not be aware of this, I got a book. It is called HBCU Sports 101, A Guide to Understanding Black College Athletics. Now, I told you guys, I since I was in the hospital and was hospitalized and sales were like doing well. And, because I wasn't able to, promote it and do the tours, and, I'm going to resume my book tour and got a couple of podcasts that I'm lined up with that I'm talking to about coming on and so forth. Things kind of went a little dry. So I decided, okay, it takes time to sign these books, but I know you guys be wanting signed copies. Okay. So, had a couple of orders last week because I told you guys I'm back to signing copies again. So you guys have been like DMing me and saying, hey, Ken, I'd really like to get a signed copy. How can I get a signed copy? And I said, I'm sorry, I'm not signing any more copies. But guess what? I'm signing copies now because see them books back there? I want to get rid of those books. Got to get rid of the inventory. Okay. So here is what I'm doing. You can go to kenrashad.com. You can order HBCU Sports 101, A Guide to Understanding Black College Athletics. You will get a signed copy for the exact same price that you get the regular book, whether it be on Amazon, Barnes & Noble at the regular price, and it's unsigned. But you will get it for the same price as the signed copy. And guess what? You can even get a copy of the premium version. Ooh. Now, you think I'm joking. Now, see, let me show y'all. Okay, let me see. You see right here? This is, you probably can't tell, but this is, let me put it, see, this book here is the premium copy, and this is the standard. This is actually thicker than the other copy. And the pages are much nicer, less likely to rip. Not saying that they won't rip. I'm just simply saying it's a little more durable, and you pay a little more, but guess what? The premium copy is on sale, and you will also get it signed. So go to kenrashad.com and get your copy of HBCU Sports 101, A Guide to Understanding Black College Athletics. And let's get rid of these books. Okay. Also, by the way, in case you guys didn't know, other than this podcast, I too have a podcast, another podcast. You can go and it's the Ken Rashad Show, where we talk about entrepreneurship, business topics, and things of that nature. And, I've finally gotten to the point to where now I'm starting to feature other individuals. And man, let me tell you something. The latest edition of the podcast just dropped today. And me and Chris was just talking about it before. I interview a brother by the name of Lucius McDaniel IV, who is the founder, CEO of the web app, of the app called BiteSite. And according to him, it's DoorDash meets TikTok. This brother is 25 years old and has created a multi-million-dollar app. And you may have even seen his video went viral at one point. He had his sister talk about, my brother's got a new app and you are going to listen to him talk about it. And it like went viral, man. And it just ballooned to where he was like literally number 2 in the food and beverage category of Apple App Store. Now, of course, I'm an Android guy, but that's beside the point. And apparently that's a big thing, right? I mean, at that time, he was hired in like DoorDash and Starbucks and McDonald's. I mean, that's how high it had gotten. And now he's received something like $1.5 million in funding, and he's about to announce another round of funding. His story is phenomenal. He is 25 years old, by the way, just a few years out of college. So check that out. All right. Now, let's talk about some HBCU stuff.
Yes.
We didn't have time to put this. It might be up there sometimes before the end of the day, but we got to talk about a release that Valley released just like a few minutes ago. And I love the way they spent this, Chris. They love your way of spending this. They said MVSU athletics is evolving. Mississippi Valley State University has announced a strategic realignment of its athletics program, including discontinuing women's soccer and adding women's flag football and club golf. Mississippi Valley athletics is evolving. This realignment reflects the university's commitment to investing in high-growth sports, optimizing resources, and expanding opportunities for student athletics. All current women's soccer student athletes will retain their scholarships through the 25-26 season until the end of the school year, academic year, and will receive individualized transition support. Valley Athletics is evolving, Chris Stevens. Now, obviously, to make sure that they comply with Title IX, you had to, obviously, look, this is a financial play. Now, you guys already know how I feel about Valley Athletics. I told you what the ultimate solution would be. I know that kind of pisses some folks off, but Valley should go D2. But that's beside the point. Chris Stevens, your thoughts on this topic?
It's so interesting because I found this when a social media friend of mine who's a Valley alum posted it, and he was very annoyed by the change. And I told him, I said, I feel like we, and I mean in the HBCU space and Black folks in general, are just too far behind where soccer is concerned. Soccer is still the fastest growing game in the world, but we just haven't latched on to it the way we probably should. And his response, which I found very interesting and I agree with, is that people were short-sighted in cutting soccer because where he's from that part of Mississippi, Itabena. Sorry. And he said there's a Latin, Hispanic population explosion down towards that area. So he's like, we're turning away soccer players. And I get what he's saying. I mean, I'm not gonna talk down, I'm not gonna shout down what a Valley alum says, but it just feels like we've just been too far behind in women's soccer. I mean, Delaware State has had women's soccer since I was in school. Ask me how many winning seasons have they had?
How many winning seasons have they had, Chris?
Goose
not
egg.
Laughing, but right.
Goose egg donut. Matter of fact, this year's team isn't bad. They are 6-9-3 right now. That's the most wins they've had since 2014. So shouts out to Coach Natasha down there doing really good work for the Delaware State women's soccer team. But we're just too far behind. I mean, granted, Howard has a really good women's soccer team. They're in the top 3 in the NEC at the moment. But it just feels like Valley is just doing what they can to sort of mitigate the damage. And yeah, I think it's smart because women's flag football is growing. There's going to be a call for it. I mean, the high school game has already spouted out here in the because I'm in the Delaware Valley area, Philadelphia, South Jersey, Delaware. There are at least, and it's been, in by my account, by the last 16 months, about 75 high schools that have added girls flag football. So once it goes, once
how
it
many?
leaves,
How many?
75.
Okay.
75. When you take into account this area, I mean, there's hundreds of high schools in the area, but 75 adding girls flag football is huge. So when you take that into account and realize that girls are gonna, because girls like football too.
Right.
And now they're gonna have a chance to play it at a level that's competitive and safe. It's gonna take off. It's absolutely gonna take off. So it wouldn't surprise me if
good. So wouldn't surprise you what?
It wouldn't surprise me if the MEAC added it as a sport and that the SWAC added it as a sport as well. So I think Valley and Alabama State are right to get in on the ground floor of this, even though it's probably going to take some time.
All right, yeah, I was just about to ask you that about that in Alabama State too. So Alabama State has a flag football program.
Yeah.
Am I being unfair to Valley with what I've said so far? Because look, I understand it takes money, but is this a case with soccer? Is there an expense there? Is there true expense versus women's flag football?
That's a good question. I don't think there's that much difference.
Or is it maybe we're just not winning, so let's go ahead and give flag football a try? I mean, I want to be fair here.
That could be it, because I can't remember the last time Valley won a women's soccer match before they even, because they stopped the season flat, like 2 or 3 games into the season. They said, all right, so this decision has probably been looming before Alicia Shields Gadsden got there. For you guys that don't know, Alicia Shields Gadsden was previously athletic director of Delaware State.
Yep.
And she got hired on at Valley.
Yeah.
So this move was probably in the tuck before she got there.
Okay. Someone D-Love was saying that, well, is it, saying soccer requires a different field? Well, they've already got the field.
I mean, because we'll see, here's the thing. When I mentioned that Delaware State hasn't had a winning women's soccer program, when I was in school, the football team fought to keep them off of the Alumni Stadium turf, which was the turf.
Why?
They didn't want them playing on the football stadium field.
Was it grass at the time?
No, it was turf. It was turf.
Oh, it was turf.
They had just installed turf. This was 2005. Okay. And
so why would that be an issue?
I don't know.
I can understand if it's grass. I can understand if it's like, and maybe you got some issues trying to maintain because, but I mean, you possibly tear up the turf and the grass is, if you got to use it within a 24-hour time period, I kind of understand that, depending on how well kept the grass is. But if you're talking about turf, is that really an issue?
It was a mystery to me when I was in school. Okay. It's a mystery to me now. Which is funny. It doesn't matter, because when DSU brought this downtown Division III campus and turned it into a satellite school, a turf field came with it. So the women's soccer team and women's lacrosse teams have their own turf fields downtown in Dover. And I'll never forget, they played on a patch of dirt in between Alumni Stadium and PetSmart. So myself and Dennis Jones was the sports information director at the time. We called it PetSmart Field. And I'll never forget, probably the first or second game on that turf field, because this is when they were playing like in the United States Conference or something like that. And I think they were playing a school from Utah. And a girl from the other school fell in a divot and tore both of her ACLs.
Wow.
And you could hear her screams for miles. So I started calling it the PetSmart Field of Screams.
Wow.
And but after, a while, they ended up playing on the Alumni Stadium turf. But yeah, I don't know why. I mean, I don't think it takes a different field. I just think it takes effort to, build up programs. And I think that's where a lot of HBCUs struggle, because yes, football and basketball are the front porch sports, but you still need to give your other athletes the illusion, or at least the hope, that you give a doggone about the other sports.
Right.
So I don't know if this, and I don't think this helps Valley's case in that regard, but at the same time, women's flag football is going to take off eventually. I mean, it's already going to be an Olympic sport for Los Angeles in 2028. Yeah, so you might as well go ahead and jump on. You might as well strike while the iron is hot.
Right. Okay. So that's one headline. Now, Chris, we're going to talk about the entire MEAC and SWAC slate of games coming up this Saturday.
Yes.
But damn it, I'm not going to be a happy soul, especially if things don't change between now and tomorrow morning, because your boy does kind of look forward to watching ESPN College Game Day. But damn it, Disney and YouTube TV. So there I was, kind of, I was recording the Dale State game from last night, which was on ESPN. And so had a chance to see most of the first quarter. I knew I was going to have to step away, was recording the game because I knew third quarter, I was going to be busy because I had some running around to do. I had to leave the house. Me and the missus had to do some things. And I figured by the time I got back, it was going to probably be mid fourth quarter. And when I get back, I'm like, okay, let me go ahead and run. Like, where? Only to find out all of my ESPN and ABC, all of the Disney channels are gone. Not that I watch National Geographic, but it ain't there. Only to find out that Disney has gone dark on YouTube TV. And I happen to be a YouTube TV person. Love it, by the way. And damn it, I'm like, oh, okay. I'll just go to the ESPN app. Guess what? I can't watch it on the ESPN app because it's tied into YouTube TV because they'll ask you, who is your provider? I can't watch the games this weekend. And that includes FAMU and Jackson State. I think that's on ESPN Plus, right? Or that's on the, I think that's on ESPN. That's not on Spike TV, I don't believe, right?
I think it is on ESPN Plus.
Am I the only one out there? Please comment. I'd love to know in the chat. Are you a YouTube TV subscriber? Or am I the only one? Because Chris, what do you have?
Well, this is why I've always said that every HBCU conference should have a plan B with respect to broadcasting and streaming. Because when stuff like this happens, you're having people go to different apps and put on in different subscriptions and all of that. It's so funny because this is pretty much the anti cut the cord sentiment, because people were talking about cutting the cord
Right.
4 years. Yeah. And everyone was like, well, YouTube TV should solve it. Not if they keep having disagreements with the networks about different things like that. So now what you have to do is either, if you want to watch ESPN games, you got to sign up for the ESPN app, which is like $12, $11 a month. Or if you get the full package, it's $30, which is why I've not watched the WWE PLE this fall, because we're not paying $30 to watch a WWE. I'm just not.
So I think they got like two different. So you before, okay, so I think ESPN had the ESPN Plus package.
Mm-hmm.
And I had that, which is typically tied into whoever your current cable or internet provider is at that time. And I think if you've got the rights, some way, somehow, if you are a subscriber to either the internet provider or the TV provider, and they've got ESPN, you're cleared to watch it, and you just pay whatever the fee is, like that. Mm-hmm. I still don't understand. And so then recently, if you recall, Disney announced this new bundle where you get like Disney and I think Hulu and like ESPN, if I'm not mistaken. They did that recently. Right. There you go. Yeah. Mr. Jackson, the Hulu bundle package. And I forgot how much is, and
it's $30 a month. It's $30.
Oh, is that the one you were talking about? Okay. Yeah. So that's completely separate. And I still don't and what I don't understand is, I guess what kind of pisses me off, and maybe I should know more about this than I should. I'm paying ESPN to have access to them damn Plus. So why are you charging me if I don't have access to it?
Thank you.
I don't get that. I don't get it. Don't bill me for a month and I don't have access to the ESPN app. Whatever that, my $16 a month is or whatever it is. Don't send me a bill, because I call myself trying to watch. I call myself trying to watch Get Up this morning. I just watch it on the ESPN app. Can't watch it. So I'm just saying, man. It was kind of. I'm now leave it up to Kendrick Marshall. Now, from what I'm told, there are some other ways that we can access this, and I will probably take advantage of those ways. Because at some point, ESPN or should I say Disney and YouTube TV, they're gonna come to an agreement because YouTube TV is too big. I think they said 10 million. That's 10 million households or 10 million subscribers. That's too much revenue for Disney not to have its shows go out and not be able to get access to those people. And so, and I should have known better because I don't know, maybe you, some of you on who own YouTube TV, you probably saw those little, I've noticed like on ABC and on ESPN, they kept saying stuff like YouTube TV is at it again. If you want to keep ESPN and ABC, you need to go to saveespn.com or whatever was some app. And I'm just like, no, it ain't YouTube TV is at it again. Both of y'all are at it again. Damn it. You both agreed to it. You know, don't. YouTube, because look, Disney probably wants more money for the license. And if you, depending on what that is, and YouTube says, okay, we'll pay you, then guess what? Those of us who are paying for YouTube TV are going to have to pay more. This is what happens with these high, and it typically is related to these these like multi-million-dollar TV contracts that they're signing with the conferences and NFL and MLB and all of these other. That's where the money is made. Now Amazon is in the game now. So I'm just saying. Lawrence is saying, he said, I'm paying $29.99 so I can watch live ESPN without streaming services. And you know what? And I think see, Chris, you were talking about how back in the day when people had cable and they were talking about cutting the cord. Mm-hmm. That's going to be the new cutting the cord. This is what streaming platforms are doing now. Yep. Disney has already got this done so that if whatever reason folks get pissed off with YouTube TV for whatever reason, they say, hey, cut YouTube TV and just pay you $30 and you can get your Disney, you can get your ABC, and you can get your ESPN. You can get all the college football and basketball you want to watch. And you're good. That's going to be that is already the new method of cutting the cord. You know. So people like YouTube TV and Direct TV and I guess Charter Communications and Comcast, I think they're both combined, right? And now you got, I think NBC Universal has got one. Peacock is, I think that's all the same. But I'm just simply saying they all have these individual, monthly streaming services that they provide. That that's kind of where we are, man. So anyway, we've got to find some way to get around this. Okay, let's move on. All right. Yes. Chris Stevens, you had the opportunity to take in Deshaun Jackson's first win against Michael Vick. You were at Philadelphia, what's that, Lincoln Financial Field? Is that what it is? Lincoln Financial Field. You were at Lincoln Financial Field last night.
I was.
Was it something? Was it really? Was it 47,000?
47,266. That was the report. That was the reported attendance.
Okay. All right. Tell us about it, man. How'd it go?
All right. So people are going to probably watch the first part. If you still have access to ESPN,
I do not.
You're going to watch the first half of that game and think, wow, they lied about the numbers. They did not, because what happened was the Philadelphia Flyers were playing a hockey game next door at the Xfinity Center, and the Flyers are good again. So naturally, white people in Philadelphia care about the Flyers again. So they started going to the games. So traffic was bananas. That's why I left 3:00. I live about 35 minutes south of Lincoln Financial Field. So I left around 3:30, got there 4:00, got myself a good parking space. Just walked through the tailgates. The tailgates were lively. And then I went and got to my seat. Up in the press box. And people started, the lower bowl was filled just before halftime. So, and Lincoln Financial Field seats about 70,000. So this was an awesome attendance, figure number one. As for the game, everyone is ready to crown Delaware State. And mind you, I am a proud Delaware State alum. But let me tell you something. This team has some concern points.
Yeah.
Number one, Caden Bennett is not healthy.
Yeah.
He missed a chunk of the second and third quarter, getting treatment for whatever was ailing him. His injuries were not disclosed. And Jaden Sorey is not a bad second option, but he doesn't run like Caden Bennett runs. So Bennett went back out there laboring but still that offense ran a lot smoother with him out there. That's number one. Number two, Ken Rashad and I could combine for 400 yards of passing offense against this Delaware State pass defense. This pass defense is terrible, Jack. I'm not going to mince words. Like they give out 300-yard passing games. Like people are going to be passing out candy to kids tonight for Halloween.
What did Otto Coons pass for?
311 yards.
That's what I thought. It was
and 3 touchdowns.
Right. Yeah.
So this pass defense gives me agita, and the quarterback play gets better from here because Morgan State they got something with this young freshman Ray. I can't remember his last name. I think it's Ray Lee the third. I know he's Ray the third. I know that much, but I know he looked really good against Howard last week, and it wouldn't surprise me if he looked good against South Carolina State this week. That's why I said Morgan State is a trap game of all trap games. But for now, the positive.
I don't agree with that, by the way. I don't think that's a trap game. But against Morgan State?
Man, the only time Morgan State has looked bad this year is when they went up to Akron.
They went where?
Akron.
Oh, Akron. Okay. Well,
they've been in just about every other game. They just haven't been able to finish. But that might be the one thing that helps Delaware State is that Delaware State's a little bit better at finishing. But this is the point. This is the positives. They cannot have a losing season now. They're 6-3. God forbid they lose their last 3. They would still finish 6-6. But there's a good chance they'll win next week, and that will clinch their first winning season since 2012. That's a long time.
Next week?
Yes.
Okay.
That Morgan State game is going to be on a Friday at 7 p.m. on ESPN2. I mean, you may not have access to ESPN, but if you do, check out ESPN2. Delaware State versus Morgan State on Friday night. And yes, as Ken has so graciously put us up, the MEAC standings as it stands right now, Delaware State's 2-0.
Everybody else like you see all the time, Chris Stevens.
No, it's not. It hasn't been one that's been seen in 18 years. Because that was the last time Delaware State won the MEAC, 2007.
Folks are ready to crown you. Folks are already talking about the possibility of seeing Delaware State and Jackson State in the SWAC champion. I mean, in the Celebration Bowl, they're already talking about it.
Somebody else said it's going to be Hornets versus Hornets, and I don't agree with that at all. I don't agree. I mean, I like Alabama State, but Jackson State still has to lose one more time, and I don't think Jackson State loses another game this year. But we'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, as you can see, Delaware State's 2-0. Everybody else plays this weekend. We'll get to the slate of games in a minute, and I'm not ready yet. I mean, maybe because I've seen the best. What's that Marvin Sapp song? He saw the best of me when it was the worst of me or something like that. Y'all know I'm not a gospel person, but I've seen the best and the worst of Delaware State football. I've seen it all. So I'm not ready to crown this team just yet, but I can tell you now, I'm very excited about the prospects of this team moving forward.
So I understand your doubts and the rationale for your doubts. I respect, but what is it going to take for you to finally come to the belief? Okay, Delaware State has definitely they've definitely made it over the hump.
When they
you can just simply say they're going to win a MEAC.
When they beat South Carolina State November 22nd, and not a second before.
Who they have next?
They got Morgan State on Friday, this coming Friday, and then they got Howard at home on the 15th. That's going to be a fun one.
What about Howard? They got to be South Carolina State. You don't think? Look, that's okay. Well, all right.
Howard
is formidable.
Larry Scott does not lay down for anybody.
I get it. That's my point.
So I mean, and we'll talk about the slate in a minute, but Howard's not bad. Central, we have not heard the last of North Carolina Central.
Well, yeah, but I was going to say, but no one expected that. No one saw that coming, Chris.
Not even me.
All right. Okay.
So, but I mean, I've just seen it all. But right now, I am enjoying the fact that my alma mater is playing some really good football. And I do want to talk about Mike Vick and Norfolk State real quick.
Okay.
Give him a chance. This is his first time coaching anywhere. Deshaun Jackson at least had some high school coaching experience before he took the Delaware State job. This is Michael Vick's first time coaching anywhere. And this is not a bad Norfolk State football team. They have players. They just haven't been able to put it all together enough to win enough football games. And I don't think they'll win another game this year. But this is going to be where Michael Vick really steps up to the challenge because listening to him in the press conference last night, I listened to somebody who was determined to figure it out. I didn't hear a quitter. I didn't hear, bump this kind of guy. He said, I'm proud of these young men. They showed up. We're going to continue to show up, and I'm looking forward to better days. So this is probably the worst that a Michael Vick coach football team is going to get. So Norfolk State folks, have some patience.
Not to get off the subject, but since we're talking about Norfolk State, and I asked you guys this question in the chat, and if you guys are listening, please put this in the comments, especially anyone. It was reported last week, Norfolk State had homecoming last week, right?
Yes.
Dick Price Stadium, if I'm not mistaken, seats like 30,000 people.
That was the last I heard.
Why did they report? I understand homecoming, but didn't they report like 40,000 plus?
47,000.
47,000? That could not be right.
The fire marshal would have shut that thing down after about 35.
Somebody who was there, or if you have some idea of what, please tell me that was an error. I'm not saying it's not impossible to get more than what the actual capacity is, especially for homecoming. But are you going to sit up here and going to tell me that stadium had 17,000 more people than capacity?
56% more than actual capacity.
That is.
I don't know about that.
That's got to be an error, right?
Got to be.
I'm just saying. I didn't want to derail you, but since we're on Norfolk State, and I was just reminded of that. Hey, look, and I get it. Mike Vick is running the show, so I understand. They said the tailgate. Hold on, let me see this. Okay, so Robert Henson says they said the tailgate people had to buy tickets, so if they were not going, so they counted the tailgate. Can you really do that?
Apparently, you can.
So I guess it wasn't attendance. It was, I guess, sold tickets. Is that what they were going by? They said people had to buy tickets. Said the tailgate people had to. Well, I guess if you're going to maximize, that's what you do. But I just don't think you would necessarily include that into the attendance of the football game, though, right?
Yeah, I agree with that.
But
here's my thing. I don't have a problem with charging people for homecoming.
No, I don't either. You should. If there was ever an opportunity to fundraise, homecoming is it. I'm not questioning them selling tickets. I'm not questioning that. I'm just simply talking about the fact that the stadium seats 30,000 people. And I can understand if you said 33, 34, 35,000. But it said 40-some thousand people at a football game in a stadium that holds 30,000. That's the only issue that I take with that, but okay, if they said you had to buy game tickets, even if you were tailgating, I'm just simply saying, I just think that it probably would have been better, man, to kind of like earmark those funds for something else other than just stadium attendance. But anyway, that's beside the point. I don't want to belabor that too long, and I'm not criticizing. I just wanted to know if there was some error to that or not, because when I first saw it, I was like, wow, that is crazy. So anyway. All right. So real quick. So this is the MEAC schedule. So, okay, Delaware State's got the win, Chris. So we got Morgan State, South Carolina State, North Carolina Central, and Howard. And so we talked about this pre-show meeting. Okay. Can we both agree South Carolina State probably gets the edge over Morgan State?
Yes.
Okay. Who do you have North Carolina Central, Howard?
Ooh.
And so the question is, North Carolina Central already got their loss. If they lose to Howard, is that a knockout blow?
For me, it is.
Okay.
Because you already lost to Delaware State, and Delaware State is probably not going to lose again, at least for the next 2 weeks. You lose to Howard, and Howard goes to 2-0. You're behind that Howard tiebreaker.
Right.
So what you have to hope is that if they lose to Howard, is that Howard somehow loses their last 3 and Delaware State loses twice. Well, even if they lose twice, I mean, they're still already, Del State still has the head-to-head tiebreaker.
Yeah, that's true.
So basically what they would need is Delaware State to lose their last 3 MEAC games. And, if they were, this is if they were to lose to Howard. But if they win, they're still very much in the fight. But you still have to hope Delaware State loses twice.
Chris Stevens. I'm not going to watch it. I gotta find some bootleg ways to watch it.
Man, we gonna find. Man, people are gonna find a way.
YouTube TV and Google. I mean, and Disney. Please get it together, please.
For all of us, especially us NBA fans, we're crying out loud.
Get it together. Oh,
but yeah.
By the way, the Lakers are winning without LeBron.
I know that makes you very happy.
Oh my God. AR-15, do your thing, brother.
Austin 315.
Oh my God. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's old white boy. But yeah, I think if Howard wins this game, this knocks North Carolina Central out. And who would have thought? Who would have said that?
Yeah.
So Lawrence says North Carolina Central needs a 3-way tie with South Carolina State, Delaware State, North Carolina Central. Yeah. So what would have to happen is North Carolina.
That's a lot of. That's you talking about if they lose.
If they, I think this is even if they win
right now. Because of the loss. Okay.
Yeah, because what you would need is
needs a 3-way tie with South.
What would have to happen is that.
Okay. Yeah.
Central would have to beat South Carolina State, and South Carolina State would have to beat DSU.
You're right. Yeah. Okay.
And I guess by transitive property, order of operations, whatever, Central would get the MEAC title and the spot in the Celebration Bowl.
And that's possible. It is possible.
It is.
And we've seen it happen before with these 3-way ties in the MEAC.
We saw with a 6-way tie in 2014.
It is not uncommon, especially with the MEAC, to come up with 3- and 4-way ties. Nope. That's right. What year was that 6-way tie?
2014.
That was. Oh my God.
And that was Morgan State.
Oh my God, I do remember that.
Morgan State got the FCS playoff spot, and Lee Hall was coaching then.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of math that needs to be done. But yeah, Central basically has to win this game. They do, they're fine. They don't, adios.
Okay. All right. So that concludes our analysis of the MEAC. Chris, let's take a look at the SWAC conference and the slate of games for this weekend. We got Valley of Bethune-Cookman. Don't think there's much happening there. I think we can pretty much agree. Bethune-Cookman is rolling, by the way.
Oh, they're playing some really good football.
And are very much in the hunt in SWAC East.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they've still got some skin in the game. All right. Southern at UAPB. This is a race to the bottom. This is a race to the bottom. Southern is like 1-7 overall.
Yes.
And let me look at these standings real quick. UAPB is 3-5.
Well, they beat they had a couple of D2 NAI.
Yeah. No, but I'm saying, but they're 1-3 in conference, and Southern is 0-4 in conference. Something's got to give, Chris Stevens.
Yes, it does.
All right. Who y'all got, man? Who y'all got? Southern or UAPB? This is UAPB. Would it be wild? You know what? Okay, so let's talk about this. So according to Reggie Flood last week, Southern Insider, and there was everything that he says makes a lot of sense now, because according to him, when it was announced earlier in the season that Fred McNair was supposed to be calling plays as offensive coordinator, according to him, Fred McNair wasn't calling plays. And so when finally it was revealed that, or I guess that when Southern AD Roman Banks learned that Fred McNair wasn't calling plays, they said, well, now you got to go. And from what it appeared, now I did see a whole lot of that game last week, it appeared that at least offensively, Southern kind of looked like a different team. But because FAMU still has some stuff to pay for, they didn't play FAMU. Who did they play last week?
Yeah, they did play
FAMU.
Mm-hmm.
And FAMU basically outscored. So I am led to believe, I think this might be a different team, Chris Stevens. I'm gonna. Well, first of all, who you going? I'm going with the Jags. I'm going with the Jags.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Southern too.
You go with Southern.
I think this is, Fred I mean, not only is this a chance for them to get right, this is Fred McNair's chance. This is his audition.
Okay. Let me ask you this, and you guys in the chat, depending on how it goes the rest of the way, is Fred McNair really going to be considered as a possible candidate to lead this team next year? Is this really an audition? And I say this based upon, look, man, I don't want to sit up here and act like I know all there is to know about the inner workings of Southern, man. But there's something inside me, and I don't know this. This is just me, okay? I'm not trying to put this on anybody. There is something inside me that tells me that Southern isn't going to consider Fred McNair. No matter how well things go the rest of the way. And I could be wrong. I like Fred McNair, and I don't know anything about him. I don't know him personally. But there's just something that tells me that Southern isn't going to look at him, even if things, let's just say if he wins out the rest of the way. Do you think they would, or maybe they just have to be a completely different team, but something just deep down inside just tells me they may not necessarily look at him. Do you think so?
I don't. I would like them to, but at the same time, there might be an opening, somewhere where he's very familiar, somewhere he used to coach.
See? Adrian Crook says no. Lawrence says no. I'm not the only one who thinks this. I'm just simply saying. Okay. Alcorn State at Texas Southern. Who you got?
Yeah, that's Texas Southern.
Really?
Yeah, because
okay.
Man, Chris Dishman and those guys still got something to play for, man. They do. Because if their only conference loss at the moment is to Prairie View. So they're still in the hunt. I mean, Prairie View would have to lose twice, but Texas Southern still has a lot to play for. And I just have nothing about Alcorn State, even though they've beaten Valley, they beat Lincoln, which really shouldn't count for anything. Lincoln, California, by the way. I still think, Texas Southern has a lot more to play for, and they'll still be. And nothing about that Alcorn team under Cedric Thomas leads me to believe that they're.
I told her not to call. Hold on. Babe, this is the wife. What's that? Oh, okay. I will see you in a little bit. I'm on the show right now. I'm like literally picking up the show. I'm like on the camera, and I didn't want to. I told you I was going to do a show, and you just calling me. I'm just saying. Okay. Huh? Okay. I love you too. Hey. Okay. I told her not to call me. She called me anyway. Okay. Anyway, you were saying.
Yeah, there's nothing about this Alcorn team under Cedric Thomas that leads me to believe they're going to play spoiler. So I got Texas Southern in that one.
Okay. And they're playing in Houston.
Yeah.
Look, to Sports Information Director Ryan McGinty, if it's not too much to ask, can we make sure that Coach Dishman makes the coach's call on time on Monday? He ain't ever on time. And he like one of the last ones to go. I'm just saying, man. Them bad boys is long enough as is. It's 12 coaches.
And I know, unlike the MEAC, they don't have a one question per media person limit.
They sure don't.
I love, and shout out to Mr. Lynn Thompson, the strategic advisor for the MEAC. He makes that abundantly clear at the top of the MEAC call. Media reps, I'm going to try to do his voice because he has a great voice. Media reps, we limit you to one question. Got it? Good. So when Lynn Thompson made that announcement a couple weeks ago, I said, thank you, Jesus. Because too many people were just like on and on and on. And I was like, all right, enough.
All right. So you go with Texas Southern. I probably go with Texas Southern too. Let me ask you this about Alcorn. Can Cedric Thomas right the ship?
No. No.
There's nothing he can do?
I don't care if they beat Jackson State by 40.
I'm talking about Texas Southern now. I mean, that's just one game. You think? I think by then it'd be too late. I'm just saying.
Yeah. There's nothing about this team under his leadership that leads me to believe that they even want to play for this dude, man.
You think he's lost the team?
Like I said, he's the substitute teacher that comes in and everybody's like, "Oh, we ain't doing no work, man. We just gonna toss paper around for the next 2 periods." So it's like, no, there's just nothing about. I mean, I don't care. I mean, I was gonna say Alcorn by 40 in the Soul Bowl. That would probably be the only thing that could save his job, and that ain't happening. So,
okay. Alabama A&M at Grambling. Did we see a loss like that happen with Alabama A&M? No one saw that coming, did we?
I sure didn't.
So I had, and look, I understand it's year one for Sam Shade, and I don't know. I will say this: where are they? Where are they? They are 1-3 in the conference. Okay, 4-4 overall. Okay, I didn't expect that. I didn't expect them to lose that badly. I didn't think they'd win, but I didn't expect the shot. I didn't expect domination like that. I did not. Okay. I think look, I'm a homer call here, but I say this genuinely. Grambling wins. I go with Grambling.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Grambling too. I think the win they had last week gives them a lot of confidence. Granted, you got to figure out what your quarterback situation is going to be because obviously
that's the reason why I bring pause because T-set, no report. You know what? And let me take the time right now to address this because you were privy to the conversation I was having with you guys in the chat about everybody wanted to get an update on T-set. As far as I know, I could be wrong. I think T-set is still in Vegas. And there were people who were saying something, he had a concussion. Look, I want to make this clear. I'm not an expert on HIPAA or anything like that. I'm just kind of basing this on my own personal experience of someone who was in a hospital not that long ago. One of the questions that they asked me, and I'm not trying to compare my situation to his, was if anyone calls the front desk wanting to get an update on your medical status, are we allowed to tell them? I told them no. It is my belief, and I'm pretty certain based upon what Coach Mickey Joseph said last Monday, that the statement that came out, was like, obviously he's recovering and all this other stuff. They didn't provide any specifics. Do know that was because T-set's family didn't want specifics to be released. Period. Period. And yet some of you, just unfortunately, he has a concussion. You didn't hear that from them. So no one knows what his status is. And that's because, understandably, his family doesn't want anyone to know. And when Mickey Joseph was asked during the press conference, can you provide a status on T-set? He said, out of respect for his family, and I think he was genuine, we don't know. So Grambling doesn't know what the status is, from what I understand. And if they do, they aren't telling anyone. Understandably so. All right. So Darrensburg, third string quarterback, because Ashton Fry was already injured prior to the Jackson State game. That's the primary concern that we will have, because again, this is a Grambling offense that was already struggling pretty much the entire season up to this point. And so now T-set is out probably for the rest of the season. And then, I don't know when Ashton Fry is going to be back. And now you've got Darrensburg, who, according to Mickey Joseph, before he got into the game against Jackson State, didn't get any snaps at all. So, but I will give Grambling the edge for the sake of the momentum. All right, Chris Stevens, Alabama State and PV.
Ooh.
Now,
this has game of the year written all over, to be honest with you.
It does have kind of game of the year, huh?
Yeah, because the winner of this game stays.
Go ahead. The winner of this game, what?
Stays in the hunt. Prairie View.
PV can suffer a loss.
Yeah, but Alabama State, they've got to win out and have some help.
Right.
So
right.
I think that level of desperation and the fact that Alabama State has a much better offense, I think I'm going to give Alabama State the edge. It's not going to be a wash, but I do think that Alabama State wins this game.
You give Alabama State the nod at PV.
Yes. I
tend to agree with you. I don't want to take anything away from what PV has done up to this point. And, I can't help but to reflect back on the interview that I had with Tremaine Jackson earlier before the start of the season. and how confident he was that he would be able to turn that program around. And while anyone can talk about how weak the SWAC West is, and it is weaker than the East, you can't fault the man for winning the games that he's won. You can say what you will about the opponents, but there's still something about, and to his credit, he has indicated that, PV still hasn't arrived yet. According to him, this team can be a heck of a lot better than what it currently is. But yet they've been able to do enough. They've had some ugly wins, and they're rolling, and he's got them in a position to where at this point they can take a loss and they'll still be okay. Alabama State, not so much. I agree with you. I go with Alabama State, and PV suffers its first conference loss of the year.
Yep.
And then there's the game on ESPN Plus, Jackson State at FAMU. Now, I don't know if it's game of the year, but it is a big game, right?
Yeah, because we don't know Jacoby Morgan's status either.
Well, I don't think he's coming back. Well, I'm saying for this game.
Yeah. But here's the thing: they may not need him against Florida A&M.
Ooh.
Because I'm gonna be honest with you,
that
Florida.
Well, go ahead. I thought you was about to talk about Lockhart, but go ahead.
I haven't had a chance to see him play.
Okay.
Jackson State folks might know him. Jackson State will probably know better about him than anybody else. But there's just something about this Florida A&M team that even though they're playing in desperation mode right now because they know that Brother Coles's on the burner, I just don't think that they can beat Jackson State. If they beat Jackson State, then Eddie Robinson needs to send James Colsey a Christmas basket because that would literally open the door for Alabama State to slip by. But I just don't think that even without Morgan, Jackson State can lose in Tallahassee. I just don't see it.
Look, man, I think Tiger 95. Look, he says Jackson State versus FAMU game is tricky. Plus, it's hard to be FAMU at night in Tallahassee. Man, let me tell you something. That is there. I've only you guys. I tell you guys the story. I said I was kind of embarrassed. I've only been to FAMU one time, and that was last year. And I told you when I went, it was raining, pouring cats and dogs. This is what not last year. Whenever
23,
Prairie View and FAMU SWAC championship game in Tallahassee. Man, look, let me tell you something. FAMU, and I mean this, game day operations is probably, I've never been, haven't been all HBCU stadiums, but I'm telling you, man, FAMU's game day operations and environment is probably one of the best ones I've seen in the HBCU of the HBCU stadiums I've attended. It is that good, and I really do believe that environment. And someone said this game is at night. There is something about that environment to where the crowd really can have an impact on the outcome game. And I don't say that about a lot of it. There are a lot of HBCUs. They have great fan support and all this other stuff. But I'm talking about where the crowd really gets into the game to where it can really make a difference in terms of a momentum play or 4th and 1 or whatever the case may be. FAMU is like that. And so I'm kind of at this point, and I'm gonna put it out there because of Jackson State's situation, man. And look, I've heard some of the people say we still control our own destiny, which is true. But FAMU is in this thing now. They still got a chance to win this. Cozy is. The seat is still hot. It's cooled off a little bit, but it's still hot. Who you going with, Chris Stevens?
As funny as another upset would be, I just don't see it. Give me Jackson State. They'll win. They'll win. It'll be closer than people think, but I still think Jackson State has the edge in that.
So it's okay. Because I hear someone tells me that I think I've heard somewhere that Jackson State is bringing the band. And look, give it to the J State folks, man. They support that team.
Won't this be the return of Mr. Bullard too?
I think it is. I don't know if that really makes a difference, but yeah, I think
man, you hear some of the FAMU folks in our comments. Oh my God, let's leave the SWAC. They're too strict and like y'all doing all this over a band director. I mean a band announcer. Okay. That's fine. Right. But yeah, if Joe Bullard can whip that crowd into a frenzy, if he's known, if he's that big of an advantage, then maybe FAMU can pull it off. But for me, I still think Jackson State wins that game.
You still think it's Jackson State? Okay,
I do.
I'm gonna get back to you on that. You know why?
Oh boy.
The reason why I'm hesitant to answer that question about whether I think FAMU or Jackson State is going to win this game. You know why?
Why?
Y'all must have thought I forgot. Y'all must have thought we were not going to talk about this. I know we got whole new games start tomorrow. Jackson State plays FAMU. Grambling plays Alabama A&M. But damn it, y'all know good and damn well there's no way, even though that game was last Saturday, and this is pretty much the last show, the HBCU show that comes on, there was no way in hell I wasn't going to talk about this damn game. Because I told you guys, especially you J-State folks, I told you guys, I said, this is the game to win. On paper, you should win. You should beat Daddy this paper. You should win. You should beat Daddy. It's one of the rare times you have the opportunity to beat Daddy. And I got to give credit to Reggie Flood, because when Reggie Flood called it, he said, look, man, these are the games that the G lives for. And it was theatrical. He said that. Did he not say that, Chris Stevens?
He did.
He did say that. I, being the bleeder of black and gold that I am, try to take a more common sense approach, try to take a little bit more. And I was like, well, no, this is the game that Jackson State should win this game. Based upon what I've seen of this Grambling team and based upon what I saw at Jackson State, Jackson State should win this game. But as I said, though, did I not say, but if you lose this game, oh, Lord, if you think I was an ass last week, I'm going to show my ass this week. Y'all thought I was just going to go this whole week and not say anything about how your daddy just... Look, man, look, I'm going to just say this. You guys, I'm not going to put this on all the J-State folks. I'm not going to put this on all the J-State folks. But clearly, I am convinced some of you are really butthurt about this. Because I have said, and I think you guys overlooked this. I told you guys, man, historically speaking, we put those records out there. And I told you guys since last year, and I'm taking credit for it right now. I'm the one that started the daddy reference that goes back to last year. Now, the Grambling lights done lost their damn mind. They done came up with AI generated images of Daddy Grambling holding a Jackson State baby. I'm like, oh my God, you will never let this Jackson State. I'm just telling you now, it is going to be a part of HBCU football culture. Grambling State will be your daddy for some foreseeable amount. It's going to probably be a generational thing when you look at this. I know this pisses y'all off, but I'm just simply telling you. And you are a great football. Look, they consider you a blue blood. You are great. You have great tradition. You got football tradition. You've done your thing. Now, granted, you are the Jackson State, but you are not Grambling. You are not. There are levels to this. When you think of HBCU football, damn it, Chris Stevens, who do you think of?
Grambling.
You think of Daddy. That is correct. I am not joking. Now I'm gonna tell you this. I am one, Chris. I consider myself a fun-loving guy, man. There is no one. I love HBCUs. I've been in this space. You can't do what I've done as long as I have and not love this thing, man. I do. I want us all to thrive. I want us all to do well. I want us all to make money. I just look, man, and because I call it as I see it, and I understand sometimes you don't necessarily like my views, but do know it comes from a good place. I don't say it with the intent to be spiteful. And when I talk a little smack, because I think I'm allowed to, I'm a Grambling, I'm an HBCU, I'm a product of an HBCU. You understand what I say? I am a product of Daddy. Let me show you so you can see it big and bold. See, Ken Rashad, a product of Daddy.
Oh my God.
I wasn't joking.
He wasn't.
I'm just saying. But you know, I'm just trying to put some things in proper context here. Okay, I'm an HBCU graduate, man. Just like you love your school, Chris Stevens loves Delaware State. Jared Hoffman loves Bowie State. Kendrick Marshall loves Jackson State. Grambling's dad. I mean, Jackson State's dad. You know, he appreciate that. That's our son. And I love Grambling. So you know, we'll talk a little stuff now. But I will say this: I'm gonna have to address a couple of people. I'm not gonna call you out personally. But I will say this though. This really does bother a lot of, there's some select J-State folks, man. Y'all got so pissed off with me. Y'all got so pissed off. Y'all talked about my heart condition. One guy who happens to be, I'm not going to say his name, but y'all going to know who it is. And it's not my man, he's been on this show. Help me, Chris.
He's been on our show?
Yeah, Jackson State, the guy who was on
I can't remember.
Okay. Anyway, let me say this. Y'all know who he is. Ain't too many Jackson State folks in this media space. But let me just say this, because I can tell I irk the hell out of him, Chris Stevens. Whenever I say something about Grambling, and I say something about Jackson State, and believe me, I don't get personal. Y'all know me, man. I do not get into the weeds. I may talk about a coach. I may say, hey, the coach is bad. You don't ever hear me say anything about the coach's mama. I don't say anything about the coach's folks, his wife. That ain't me. Some of y'all do that. Some of y'all feel enamored to say whatever you want to say about somebody. That ain't me. I don't roll like that. But clearly, there are some of you out there that damn Ken Rashad just pisses me the fuck off. Burn his ass. I can tell in your comments.
Oh my God.
And this one dude, I swear to you, he don't reply often because I don't really talk a whole lot of stuff, but I'm gonna tell you now, y'all know me. Every once in a while, I'll show my face in rough and swag. I will. My man Avis runs that. And, you know, I'll show my face in every once in a while. I'll talk a little stuff and I get it. You know, they'll throw some stuff at me. I can take some heat. I can. If you're going to throw it out there, you got to be able to take it. And I'm good with it. For the most part, everybody else is good with it. But there was this one cat, man, and you know who you are. Every single time, Chris, I swear to you, I think he's a stalker. I'm starting to think he's a stalker. My man, HBCU Overdrive, I'm sorry. That's what I was talking about, Chris. My bad.
Yeah, I forgot Doc Holliday was with us.
Not talking about Doc.
What's up? I know. What's up, Doc?
You're not talking about Doc. All right.
Yeah.
But there's this one cat, man, I swear to you, every single time he got to say something about me, he always talking about my physical features. And the first time he said something, this fool said something about the moles on my face. I'm like, wait a minute. Do you know how close you got to get to? I ain't never met this guy, by the way. Yeah, I'm talking about you. I ain't never met this guy. Do you know how close you got to get to someone to talk about the moles on their face? Do you know how close? My wife, maybe. She never said anything about the moles on my face. That was the first time. Then this week, yeah, I'm talking that, dude, I was talking mad stuff about J-State.
Oh, God.
And he says, oh, shut up. What, you want big eye, you want small eye. I'm like, what? Do you know how close you got to get to someone to say one eye is bigger than the other? Bro, I'm here to tell you now. You need to know this. I'm calling you out. I am a married man. And I'm married to a woman. At the rate you're going, the next time you talk about my physical features, what you gonna say? One ass cheek is bigger than the other? That is the route you are going right now. Damn. This is what we got to deal with some of you. I'm serious, Chris. Next time he's gonna say, man, shut up, man, because you got one ass cheek bigger than the other. I'm a married man and I prefer women. Now, I get it. The way things are right now, bro. Look, I just want you to know I'm taking it, okay? Anyway. So, with that said, Chris, we're going to go back to the question at hand. Who do I pick, Jackson State or FAMU?
Oh, God.
This is, and I'm going to just be honest with you, because I told you J-State folks this last week. I'm talking smack, by the way. Oh, did I tell you guys? I told Chris this. By the way, some of you may be glad to know that I went to my surgeon this morning and he has given me the all clear. I said, Doc, not that I'm a big drinker, but can I drink? He's like, yeah. I'm like, cool. Whiskey sour tonight. Anyway, okay. I just want you to know, I am clear. Okay. So anyway, so to answer your question, Chris, my choice between FAMU and Jackson State, here is what I'm going to tell you. And I say this honestly, because I told the J-State folks this, because they thought last year was a fluke. I said, no, we've been beating Jackson State on a regular like it ain't nothing. That's what we do. Remember I told you, we'll beat you here, we'll beat you there, we will beat you anywhere. We beat you in Grambling at Grambling State, we'll beat you at Grambling East. Hell, we beat you in Grambling West of Las Vegas. It's just commonplace. And then I told you, I said, look, you guys won the SWAC championship game, you won the Celebration Bowl, but there was something about that Celebration Bowl that just didn't seem right because you didn't beat Daddy. And it lingered. And he said, oh, we're going to Vegas. Oh, we're going to beat Grambling in Vegas. And Reggie Flood tried to tell you. I said, I don't know, Flood. I don't know. Nah, Ken, this is what Grambling does, boys. Bright lights, big city. Oh, I said, I don't know, Flood. But I said, oh, but they better not lose. And they lost. This is what we do. And just like I said then, I'm telling you now, I'm not making this up. The key is, can Jackson State recover from that letdown last week? Can you recover? Given what FAMU has got to play for right now, you're playing in Tallahassee at 6 p.m. Central. That means it is 7 o'clock Eastern time. I don't know, man. And I put it out there. I said, Jackson State, I told him, I said, look, man, I know it's bad and you lost to Grambling, but I told him, I'm thinking between now and the end of the season, they still got to play FAMU and they still got to play Bethune-Cookman. And I told him, and I agree, and I'm staking, and I say this because it is difficult to go an entire year, the entire slate, undefeated in conference play. That's just difficult to do regardless, no matter how good it is. You think your team is. And I'm telling you now, everything aligns, man, to FAMU winning this game tomorrow. I'm going with FAMU because I told them Jackson State is going to lose to one of those Florida schools. I think this is the one. FAMU wins tomorrow. That's my call. You can talk about my ass cheeks all you want. I know you don't like it. You know who I'm talking about.
Oh God.
I know you may go out there on Richard and say, shut up with your small ass cheeks and your big ass cheek on the right. I'm just saying, you might say something like that. My man HBC Overdrive said, Ken, he said, I don't think so. Look, man, I don't blame you. You got to have faith. Look, man, I get it. I don't think I do. I do. But I honestly, look, man, it's psychological. And I'm just saying, look, yeah, you might win. I mean, I'm not going to lose any sleep. Look, you're talking to someone whose team really, we ain't going nowhere. Okay. And I know some of you be pitying him. He just a hater. He just a hater. Man, ain't nobody hate. Hey, let me tell you something. You can tell I'm feeling really good, right, Chris, right? You know, yeah, everybody, why do you guys love playing the victim role so much? Everybody, he's just a hater. Don't nobody hate you. That's just you wanting to be hated. Everybody wants to be hated. I promise you, J-State folks, don't nobody go around talking about hating J-State. That's just you wanting to be hated. You don't. You ain't no different than anybody else. I get it. You hate some of the things we may say, but what comes around goes around. Damn, you wins tomorrow. Chris, final thoughts.
2 Fridays in a row, man.
2 Fridays in a row, what?
Well, actually 3. Well, actually 2 of the last 3. I'm sorry. But yeah, 2 of the last 3 Fridays. We have closed the show with Kim Rashad putting me in a difficult spot.
I'm not trying to put you in a difficult spot, man.
First of all, I had to face my colleagues in the MEAC coaches conference, hoping everybody's well, super fantastic and all of that. And I'm like, Lee, Ken knows I got to see these guys on Monday, right? And now, even though I'm a MEAC guy, I'm in the middle of swag business. This is like when you are the friend and your homeboy and his girl are arguing and you in the middle of the living room, like, I ain't got nothing to do with this stuff here.
Let me address this, Chris. Grambling earned bragging rights, but if the JSU QB doesn't get injured, then we all know who would have won. That is a moot point. You cannot make that argument. You know why? Because when the quarterback went out, I could have sworn with about 21 seconds before that field goal was made, who was winning the game, Chris Stevens?
Well, it was Grambling.
No, Jackson State was winning that game by 1.
Sorry.
You can't. We would have won by 40. Dude, J-State don't ever win by 40. JSU by 40. That meant y'all would have to score 66 points or whatever it was y'all scored. If your QB doesn't get in, that is a moot point because your backups got you to the point to where they put you in a position to win. Before that field goal was made, Jackson State was winning by a point. That is a moot point. You can't use that argument. The reason why you lost is because you couldn't stop a third string quarterback from converting on 4th and 9. And guess what? He got 11. That's the reason why you lost. I get it, man. And I'm not saying that look, man, I get it. It's probably in your DNA. Grambling is who you live to beat now. I'm just, this is me talking that stuff. Historically speaking, that's the way it is. By the way, if you ever want your school to have daddy status, by the way, Angela Johnson, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. If you ever want to get daddy status, this is what you have to do, because I've heard a lot of people talking about so and such. If you want to get daddy status, since I coined this phrase, and you want to be, your rival's daddy or your school's daddy, do know that here's it's really important. You have to have at least in historical wins, you have to have at least 12. You have to have a 12 win advantage over another school to have daddy status. Because if you're at 10, then that means, if you drop to like 9, you ain't daddy status. You just got an edge. But if you got like 12, 13, 14, you got daddy status. I think we got like a 20 somehow. We could literally, Jackson State got mad at us for forfeiting homecoming. It's probably to the advantage because you probably would have lost homecoming. We could literally forfeit the next 20 games and we will still lead that. At this point, Grambling is like granddaddy status. I'm just saying. Please don't talk about my ass cheeks. All right, Chris. Let me see. There you go. Alabama State went through 5 quarterbacks last year. Still Quinn, next man up. Okay. All right.
Yeah, Chris Jarrett Photography says Bama State don't want to hear anything about a quarterback. Period. Any excuses about a QB. Period. I get it.
There you go. Look, 4th and 9. 4th and 9. 3rd string quarterback. Mickey Joseph said he didn't have any snaps at all during practice that week. 4th and 9. That's the reason why you lost. If we had a 13 quarterback, we would have won by 40. All right, Chris.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. I done laughed so hard, Ken gave me a headache. It's time for me to get off of this call. But before we go,
this sounded like Ken Rashad from Figueroa. Man, what you know about Figueroa? You know I'm from LA. What y'all know about Figueroa? What y'all know about Figueroa? What you know about Figueroa? Anyway, I'm gonna stop that. Anyway,
I don't. But ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for kicking in with us on your Friday afternoon for HBCU Sports Live. We greatly appreciate y'all as always. If you would like to follow us on all manners of social media, we are on the Musty app. We are on TikTok. Well, the Musty app is Twitter, if you're wondering. TikTok, Threads, Instagram, Facebook, Blue Sky. Search for HBCU Sports. If you would like to donate, we have Cash App. Hit the $, HBCU Sports. Drop your coins there. You can go through the Zelle app. Donate at hbcusports.com. Type that in the Zelle app. Or you can go directly to the website, hbcusports.com/donate. Be sure to become a member of this YouTube channel. Subscribe, become a level 1 or level 2 member. For the neat and tidy sum of $4.99 a month, you get all the Black college sports news that's fit to print and broadcast as we like to give it to you. And hey, for everybody out there, I'm just a rider on a storm. I got nothing to do. I'm a MEAC guy. I don't get involved in the swag business. Now, if you ask me which women are of the swag are the finest, I can talk about that. I can tell you. I've had some experiences at NABJ conventions with journalism, women from, not experiences, but women that I've met from different HBCUs, and I can tell you, the swag clears the MEAC at this point in time. Just gonna put that out there. But that's all I got. I don't get involved in the swag business. I'm a MEAC guy. Just saying. But thank y'all for watching.
All right, man. Y'all, we see y'all next week, man. God bless you. We gone.